I'm the Rockhopper, and I've traveled some of the most remote roads in the United States and Canada. And I realize that anything can happen at any time, and you've got to be prepared for the unexpected. That's why today, I'm going to show you the 15 things you should always have in your car, just in case. I'm going to count down the top 15 things, not necessarily in order of importance, but kind of. And when I get to the top 5, you'll see how important those ones are. And when I get to number 1, I think you'll understand. If you're traveling through a really remote area, you might be in mountain valleys or deep within canyons, your cell phone is going to be absolutely useless because you're just not going to have reception. And you can't rely on it to save you. You might as well just throw it in the trash. So let's start off our countdown with number 15. A multi-tool. There are many different kinds of multi-tools and they contain different attachments. This one has pliers, as most of them do. Got a knife, screwdriver, bottle opener, little file and saw here, Phillips head, another bottle opener type deal right there. They come in a wide variety, so just shop around. They might be just the thing you need to get you out of a little situation. The pliers on these can come in pretty handy if you get a cactus spine or two stuck in the side of your leg, or even worse, a cactus bulb from, say, a teddy bear cholla. And there you can just get in there and pluck them on out from the side of your leg. It's small enough to easily fit in your glove compartment, or just about anywhere in your car, really. Folds up nicely. Or if you think that's too big, maybe a mini multi-tool is just the thing for you. Like this little tiny thing. Again, got some pliers, a knife, little screwdriver right there, Phillips head, and you can clip it right onto your belt, or your belt loop. Or you can use them to pluck your eyebrows to look good when help arrives. Ow! Number 14, a tire air inflator. This thing plugs into your cigarette lighter and fills up your tire. You never know when you might get two flats if you're on really rough and remote roads. I have met people who that happened to. One may just be a really bad puncture and you could use your spare. The other might be a slow leak, and this might just get you out of that situation and back to where you need to be. My vehicle has a full-on spare tire. But so many vehicles today only have those pathetic little donuts. So while you might be able to get into a place with a donut, you maybe can't get right back out. So it might be better off just inflating the tire that has the flat to get yourself back out again. It might take a while to inflate your tire, but this could be a valuable investment, especially if you travel in really remote areas. Number 13, you may want to consider a small cook pot. It doesn't have to be big, but let's just say you're out driving around somewhere and something goes wrong. And maybe you're not too far from some water, but it looks pretty sketchy, and for the most part you should be real safe about water anyway. Well, if you've got a cook pot, you can boil up and purify your water to make it drinkable. Or you can also heat any of those little packets, like those Heat and Eat meal packets, in here, because having food is a good thing for your mental advantage if something goes wrong. You want to maintain a mental advantage in an uncomfortable situation, and having a hot meal can certainly help you do that. Number 12, sunglasses. Chances are, if you're driving, you'll probably already have sunglasses on. But if you don't, you might want to consider putting a pair in the car. You never know when you might need them. If you do have to abandon your vehicle and walk out, sunglasses will help protect your eyes from the burning rays of the hot sun. Or, if you're in the snow, it can help prevent snow blindness. I have known of a few people who have apparently gotten snow blindness, and it does actually make you blind for a while. Number 11, a flashlight. It doesn't have to be much. It can just be this small little thing here, a 1 AA battery LED light. Or you could have something bigger, like this wind-up light. Got a little wind-up thing here, so you never need batteries. And it also comes with a little radio. So you can rock out to your tunes while you're out stuck in the wilderness somewhere. And sometimes just having a voice or some music helps you get by in a mental capacity. Because if your battery's dead, you're not going to be able to listen to the radio because your battery's dead. So yeah, a flashlight can come in to be quite handy. I'll give you an example. I was camped out in the Arizona desert, and I opened my car door at night and was stepping out, and I saw a snake about 3 feet away from the car. Luckily, it wasn't a rattler, it wasn't dangerous, it was non-venomous, it was a gorgeous, beautiful king snake. But I did think in that moment, you know, if that had been a rattlesnake and it had been a few feet closer to the car, I might have accidentally stepped on him. So I pay a little more attention, and I use flashlights a little more at night now. Number 10. Headwear. It doesn't matter so much what type of hat you have, just as long as you have one. It can be a hat from Arkansas. No, mate, you need an Australian hat. That's the way to go. Protect your noggin. You don't want to go troppo out there. I don't like hats. You got a problem with that? No, I'm cool with that. It's fine. It won't give you the same degree of sun protection, but hey, a bandana's better than nothing. What about wearing a turban? Hey, whatever floats your boat, right? As long as you have protection from the sun for your head. And did you know that turbans in India were soaked overnight and then wrapped around the head and worn all day, and it was a form of evaporative cooling that kept the head cool, thereby keeping the body cool as the water evaporated, and the layers kept the water in for the day. Pretty smart idea. Number 9. A first aid kit. So let's have a look and see what's in my overstuffed first aid kit. So I've got some stretchy bandage type stuff here. A mini tube of sunblock. Some aspirin. It's probably been in here way too long. A little tube of a lip balm. Assorted bandages. Gauze pad. A little alcohol prep pad there. More gauze, more bandages. A venom extractor for bee stings, wasp stings, scorpion stings, whatever may sting you. Probably won't save you if a rattlesnake gets you, but you want to get to an emergency room real quick if that happens. Got some allergy medicine. Ibuprofen, non-aspirin pain relief, all that sort of thing in here. Butterfly type bandages. And more ibuprofen. Comes with a handy first aid instruction manual. Phone numbers for poison control. And just for good measure, you may want to throw in a little travel toothbrush and a travel-size tube of toothpaste. Remember, good dental hygiene is one of the keys to overall good health. Number 8. Duct tape. I bet a lot of you guys, and some of you girls right now, are nodding your heads going, yeah, oh yeah, duct tape. You're nodding your heads in agreement, aren't you? I thought so. It is a little silver wonder, and it comes in handy for so many things. It's amazing. That's why I recommend it. For instance, I had an issue where a plastic guard to the axle in there, the plastic guard had fallen off. Well, it hadn't fallen off. It was dragging, and I went underneath with some duct tape and wrapped it around, and that thing's still in place years later. And there it is, right there, still holding. Duct tape can also come in handy if your traveling companion is too talkative and you just can't take it any longer. What's that you say? I can't hear you. Also could come in handy for shutting up politicians. So that's why I like duct tape. You never know what it's going to come in handy for fixing things. Number 7, food. You don't need to have a lot of food in your car. Most people can live for a good week without eating anything and survive just fine. But you will be hungry, and it will diminish your mental feelings about your situation. So having some food takes your mind off your situation, makes you feel better, and if you're a guy like me with a high metabolism, you're gonna want to have some food in your car. Doesn't matter what it is necessarily, just something that maybe won't go bad, like, you know, these little energy bars here, or maybe a bag of chips. But if you really want something that will never, ever, ever go bad or deteriorate, let me show you. Can you guys guess what the food in my hand is that will never deteriorate and will last forever is? Twinkies. I have had a Twinkie experiment going on for over 5 years. These things have been subjected to temperatures of -15 Fahrenheit to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and they are still as fresh as the day they were purchased. In fact, if you look closely at the best before date there, best by March 2014. I don't know if you can see that right there. Yeah, not a speck of mold, no deterioration. They look exactly the same as the day they were purchased. I'm not sure this is food, but you might want these in your bunker when Armageddon hits. They look exactly the same as the day they were purchased. Wow, that's crazy. Something like this is also good to have in your vehicle. It doesn't go bad and provides some protein and some good nutrients. Little herring kippered snacks. It might also come in handy to have one of those heat and eat meals in those little packets. All you gotta do is warm them up and you've got an instant dinner. Number 6, a shovel. I can't tell you how many times a shovel has gotten me out of a situation where I was stuck. Not so much with this vehicle, but the previous vehicle, which was a little van, which had front-wheel drive, but it was amazing in the places that I took it, which most people thought I would never get to. But I managed to get there, but on occasion I did get stuck. I even had to use the shovel on this baby once. So I was out there, you know, down in there shoveling, trying to move rocks and things. I have been stuck in washes and ravines and crossing washes in the desert and things like that. So a shovel, yes, a shovel is a very, very good thing to have in your vehicle. Number 5, jumper cables. So let's say you're out in the middle of nowhere, you've been waiting a long time, and somebody eventually does come along, and your battery is dead. You don't have jumper cables, they don't have jumper cables. Well, now what are you gonna do? Well, that's why it's good to have jumper cables of your own for when somebody does come along and they can give you a jump and get you on your way again. I have had dead batteries, like I'm guessing many of you out there have also had dead batteries, and you know what a pain it is. It kind of just wrecks everything if you've got nobody to come out and give you a jump and get you back on the road. So, jumper cables, important to have, I think, and they also make a fine mechanic's necklace, or suspenders maybe. You'll learn the true meaning of bummer when you've been sitting out there for 2 days and somebody does come along and nobody has jumper cables. Number 4, something to sleep in and keep you warm at night. That can be a sleeping bag, such as this one, an emergency blanket, or even a large towel can help keep you warm and retain body heat through cold nights. So an emergency blanket doesn't take much space. It's very lightweight, and it just rolls out and you sleep in it, and it's supposed to retain about 95% of your body heat. Now, a better option, at least for me, is a full-on sleeping bag. Now this one in particular happens to be a -20 bag. My suggestion is have a sleeping bag that is capable of, that is rated to go to the lowest temperature of your region. In other words, let's say you live on the coast of Southern California. It probably doesn't get much below 30 degrees even in the winter. So get something rated down to 30 degrees if you want. But if you live in northern Minnesota or northern Wisconsin, you might want to consider like a -30 bag to stay warm through the night. You know, you hear about these people that get stuck in these snowstorms and have to sleep in their vehicles for like a day or two until help arrives. And that's rough. Remember these 2 words: hypothermia kills. I've had hypothermia a few times in my life, and it's not a place you want to go. If you sleep warm and comfortably, you get a good night's rest, that will help you to make good decisions. If you're really tired, you're more likely to make bad decisions, making your bad situation even worse. Seems like every year you read about somebody whose car got stuck and they stayed there for a day or 2 or maybe 3 or 4 even, and then decided to walk on out. And I can recall one story in Nevada, northwest Nevada I think it was, and I think they even made a movie out of it, like a TV movie. And they walked out and they made it, and they had a little baby, and the little baby survived. The adults, however, lost their toes to frostbite. I bet they wish they had had a sleeping bag, something to keep them warm. I don't think that's the way you want to end up in the news. So if nothing else, just consider a lightweight and small emergency blanket. Number 3, a means of making a fire. There are a few good options in regard to starting fires. You've got your paper matches, which are good to have in your car. They don't take up much space. The downfall with paper matches is they're sensitive to high levels of humidity, and if that happens, they may not light at all. What's a little bit better are wooden matches. They're less susceptible to humidity and moisture. Although, if it is excessive, they might have problems too. Possibly a better option is a magnesium flint striker. So you shave off a bit of this magnesium here and just get a little bit out. And then this is your flint striker. You take your knife and, go across that flint there, and it creates sparks, and it lights up the magnesium to a very hot temperature. I believe it's like 5,000 degrees. It's very quick burning though. So you have to have your fire all in order and ready to go, and your kindling and everything, Otherwise, you might be sitting there for a long time, and it takes a little bit of a learning curve, some skill, so you don't want to wait till an emergency situation to try using this thing. You want to get this thing down before something bad happens. Another option, and quite possibly the most simple and best one, is just go out and get a couple of these simple disposable lighters. They're really effective, and this one's not, apparently. Okay, maybe that one's dead. But normally, they work really well, and they can start your fires quite easily if you know how to make a fire. Let that be a lesson. Oh, there you go. Always check your lighters before you leave the house. I might even decide to make a video that outlines the best natural and man-made fire starters available. And when I say fire starters, I don't mean things like matches and lighters. I mean things that you can use or find that assist you in being successful in making a fire, even in adverse conditions, such as wind or rain. Number 2, water. I don't have to explain this one too much. Almost every organism on this planet depends on what is in these little bottles. I generally like to have a half-gallon stashed in my car, much more than that if I'm traveling. The average person can only last about 3 days without water. You won't even last that long in the outback, mate. You'll be toast. And you probably won't last that long in the Arizona desert either. Shout out to the good, friendly folks in Arizona. And the number one thing you should always have in your car, no matter where you're going, no matter what you're doing, no matter what time of the day or night it is that's right, toilet paper. Now, I don't need to explain to you the first and most obvious use to this. Maybe you shouldn't have had that third scoop of ice cream. Or maybe you put too many jalapenos on that burrito, and the next thing you know, it's... Uh-oh. But it also comes in handy for more things than just the obvious. Like, I'll take a square of this, and I'll get my magnesium flint striker and put some magnesium shavings right down in here, a little impression in the dirt, and put my kindling, a little dry grass or whatever over top, and start a fire. Let me show you. So I'll just make a little impression in the dirt, take my square toilet paper, put it down in there, and I'll get my flint striker, take my knife. Those multi-tools aren't knives. That's not a knife, mate. Now that's a knife. And then I'll just shave into here. So just put your shavings right here in a little square of toilet paper. Then just put your dry grass over top here. And then just give it a spark on your flint striker. And there you go. Fire. Sorry to interrupt, mate, but that wee thing you were using to strike that flint, that's not a knife. That's a knife. You can also use this if you get a cut and you're bleeding. Just take some of that and wind it around and something like that, and then just wrap it around the area tightly where the cut is and where the blood is. It helps soak up the blood, and the pressure helps stop the bleeding. And then oftentimes I'll take a piece of duct tape and I'll wrap it around this to hold it in place even tighter. And pretty effective. Having the 15 items I mentioned may be crucial to your safety and survival. Having them could save your life. Remember, your vehicle is like having a windproof, waterproof tent, and it can provide you a good degree of protection from the elements. I hope you enjoyed the 15 things you should always have in your car, just in case. You keep on subscribing, and I'll keep giving you information so that you can stay safe in the wilderness. Until next time, this is a Rockhopper. I'll see you again.